Well, I am so excited to be able to share with you a little bit more about the science behind our newest ageLOC product, ageLOC Youth. Now, just like with all of our previous ageLOC products, at Nu Skin, we set out to target the sources of the problem rather than simply trying to mask the signs and symptoms, which is the traditional approach used by most nutritional supplement and skincare companies. We specifically set out to target the sources of the problem, in this case, the sources of aging. So in the case of ageLOC Youth, we realize that the sources of aging include age-related changes in gene expression, specifically age-related changes in gene expression that modify or negatively impact our aging defense mechanisms that we already have in our bodies to help protect against many of the factors that accelerate aging. And so by targeting gene expression related to aging defense mechanisms, we're able to elicit systemic youth preservation benefits with this new ageLOC Youth product. Now, I mentioned that we already have these aging defense mechanisms within our bodies, and the reason that we have them is because from the moment we're born, we are exposed to a whole host of what we call aging aggressors. These are factors that accelerate the aging process. And there's two primary families of aging aggressors. First, there are external aging aggressors. These are things like pollution, including air and water pollution, toxins, stress, anxiety, sun exposure, smoke exposure. Most of us are familiar with these types of aging aggressors. But what many people don't realize is that we're also exposed to a whole host of internal aging aggressors. These are things like our genetics, toxins, debris, the accumulation of cellular damage and cellular metabolism, and then stress. Now, we all realize that work stress can cause us to age more rapidly, but what many people don't realize is that our cells can also get stressed out. And so that also contributes to aging. These many aging aggressors negatively impact gene expression, which in turn leads to accelerated aging. And so with ageLOC Youth, we set out to identify ingredients that could positively modulate gene expression to restore the optimal function and efficiency of our aging defense mechanisms, providing systemic youth preservation benefits. Therefore, we believe that with ageLOC Youth, we have developed our most advanced anti-aging supplement ever. We have spent more than 5 years in research and development of this product. ageLOC Youth promotes your youth span. Those are the years that you can enjoy life being more active, energetic, and healthy. Now, when I say this is our most advanced anti-aging supplement ever, I want to reiterate that we spent more than 5 years in the research and development of this formulation. In fact, this is the product that we first partnered with LifeGen Technologies to develop. We have been working on this product the entire time of our partnership with LifeGen Technologies, making this the most well-substantiated, well-studied of any of the Pharmanex products that we have launched to date. Now, in addition to the 5 years of research and development that went into this product, there are 3 key points that make this our most advanced anti-aging formula. And I'm going to go over these 3 points in a lot more detail, and these are really the 3 take-home messages I want you to have at the end of this webinar. The first is that ageLOC Youth modulates your aging defense mechanisms, resulting in systemic or whole body youth preservation benefits. It was developed based on our proprietary gene expression insights into healthy aging. And finally, it is a proprietary blend of natural ingredients that would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to obtain through diet alone. Now, I'd like to go into these 3 key points in a lot more detail, beginning with some background on what we mean by aging defense mechanisms. Aging defense mechanisms are our body's way of fighting off and maintaining resistance to aging aggressors. Now, I spoke about all those different external and internal aging aggressors that accelerate the aging process. Because of those aggressors, our bodies have evolved a whole host of aging defense mechanisms to protect against those aging aggressors. With ageLOC Youth, we have used our ageLOC science to select and test a blend of ingredients that help to support those critical, natural aging defense mechanisms that make up our internal aging defense system. With ageLOC Youth, we have focused on 6 specific categories of aging defense mechanisms. Now, we have focused on these 6 categories of defense mechanisms because these specific 6 categories operate within all the different cells in our body. So by targeting these 6 mechanism categories, we are maximally protecting our bodies against those aging aggressors. The 6 aging defense categories that we're targeting with ageLOC Youth include antioxidant defense and protection mechanisms, detoxification and stress response mechanisms, DNA protection and repair mechanisms, tissue renewal mechanisms, mechanisms regulating metabolism, and mechanisms regulating inflammatory balance. And unfortunately, with time, the function and efficiency of all 6 of these aging defense mechanisms diminishes and declines, specifically due to changes in gene expression, accelerating the aging process. Through Nu Skin's proprietary ageLOC science, we have the ability to identify ingredients that can positively modulate gene expression and restore the function and efficiency of our aging defense mechanisms to their youthful activity. Now, if somebody is already young, the ingredients we have identified for our proprietary blend actually help to maintain that optimal function and efficiency of our aging defense mechanisms. So with ageLOC Youth, we have been able to identify a proprietary blend of ingredients that can restore the function and efficiency of our aging defense mechanisms. Therefore, by targeting and promoting the optimal gene expression related to our aging defense mechanisms, we are able to restore their function and efficiency, or in youthful people, we're maintaining the optimal function and efficiency of our aging defense mechanisms, delivering these systemic youth preservation benefits. Now, when we speak about youth preservation benefits, I'd like to give you a few examples of the specific benefits that you are likely to experience in response to taking ageLOC Youth. ageLOC Youth targets cellular health. These are systemic benefits that include reinforcing the body's protection and repair mechanisms at the cellular level, helping to balance healthy cellular response. Disruption of cellular response can spark a cascade of other aging effects. Positive modulation of our systemic cytokine responses. Support of cellular DNA protection and repair, and support of cellular antioxidant protection. Now, I'd like to point out that these are all very important protective mechanisms that we have within our bodies. However, these are not effects that you're necessarily going to feel. So, for example, we don't actually feel DNA protection and repair happening in our bodies, but we really want to know that that's happening. We want to have that confidence that that protection and repair is going on. So even if you don't feel an effect of the product, it does not mean it's working. You can have confidence that it is working at the cellular level. There are health benefits, though, that you may or may not experience. One benefit includes brain health, the support of healthy brain structure and function, the promotion of youthful cognition and memory, an increase or sense of well-being and a healthy mood, support of heart health. This ageLOC formula helps to sustain our overall cardiovascular health, promotes blood vessel integrity and elasticity, both of which are essential for healthy blood circulation, the support of normal blood glucose control, the support of healthy blood lipid levels, and the support of healthy blood pressure regulation. This formulation also targets metabolic health, supporting healthy lipid metabolism and normal glucose metabolism. We are Nu Skin, and so it's no surprise that this formulation helps to support healthy skin, promoting optimal skin barrier function and protection, and helping to maintain optimal skin health. ageLOC Youth helps to support bone health. It helps to boost bone health and support bone structure and integrity. Now, unlike our bone formula that provides the building blocks for healthy bone, calcium and magnesium, ageLOC Youth actually targets bone turnover. So this helps with both the bone structure and integrity by targeting those mechanisms that tell our bodies to get rid of the old, weaker bone cells and replace them with healthy new bone cells. And therefore, we're helping to remind our bones to act more youthfully, but we still need to make sure that we're getting those important building blocks like the calcium and magnesium. ageLOC Youth helps to target joint health by supporting healthy joints and healthy joint fluidity. It also targets eye health, providing ingredients that support healthy eye composition and protection, as well as supporting healthy vision. ageLOC Youth also supports physical performance, enabling optimal physical performance and especially recovery from physical activities like heavy exercise. And finally, ageLOC Youth targets immune health by helping to promote healthy immune function and response, and overall supporting a healthy immune system. So you can see this is a very long, broad list of benefits, and depending on your starting point, you are more or less likely to experience one or more of these benefits in different ways. So if you already have healthy joints, you're probably not going to feel any changes in your joint health, but you can be reassured that that product is still working to help protect your DNA and providing that antioxidant protection. So again, even if you don't feel the benefits, you can have the confidence that the formula is working and delivering those systemic youth preservation benefits. Next, I'd like to give you an example of how these different aging defense mechanisms worked within a single tissue. I mentioned earlier that we focused in on these 6 aging defense mechanisms because we know that all 6 of these mechanisms are operating within each of our different tissues. So here we have the example of the brain and how each of these 6 mechanisms is operating to support brain health. So it's important to recognize that all 6 defense mechanisms are critical to have optimal brain protection. And that's because while antioxidant defense and protection is very important, we know that the brain consumes high levels of oxygen and therefore is especially vulnerable to oxidative stress. We want a lot of antioxidant protection in the brain, but antioxidants are not 100% efficient. And that's why we need to make sure that we're also targeting those protection and repair mechanisms so that we don't just allow the damage to go unaddressed. Similarly, the brain is especially vulnerable to things like dysregulation of metabolism and inflammatory imbalance. And so by targeting all 6 of these various aging defense mechanisms, we get a synergistic effect so that we maximally protect the brain against those aging aggressors. Some of the specific benefits we get through the support of brain health with ageLOC Youth include cognitive function and neuroprotection. Neuroprotection is simply a fancy word for protection of our brain cells. ageLOC Youth supports healthy brain structure and function, promotes youthful cognition and memory, and promotes an overall sense of well-being and healthy mood. So I think this is a good spot for a small anecdote, which is that I worked really hard to achieve my Ph.D. degree, and I spent a lot of time and effort to learn the biochemistry behind especially antioxidant defense and protection in all parts of the body, including the brain. And I know what I want to do, whatever I can, to support my brain health so that I can retain all that information that I work so hard on. And I think everyone on this call can relate to that. We work hard to learn our trade, and we want to maintain that healthy cognition as we live longer. And this next example I have to show you is really just some of the evidence behind the research that went into this formulation. So I'd like to give you just one example of a human clinical trial that was one of the studies we relied upon in the formulation of our ageLOC Youth product. This was a human clinical trial with healthy subjects. So these are people who had great memory and cognition. They were healthy adults between the ages of 60 and 81. And they consumed 2 of the ingredients in our ageLOC formula for 8 weeks. Either 2 of the active ingredients from our formula or a placebo. And after 8 weeks of consuming these 2 ageLOC ingredients, they had an overall improvement in global cognitive function. So this is really the proof of principle that you can see improvements in people who are already cognitively healthy. So that means that you and I can all stand to benefit from improvements in our global cognitive function, even though we're already starting out in a really good place. And it's research like this that we look to formulate our ageLOC Youth product. Now, in addition to the scientific literature, we partnered with our same scientific partners, LifeGen Technologies. And I think that you are all familiar with LifeGen Technologies. They are our same partners that we worked with to develop our previous Pharmanex ageLOC products, ageLOC Vitality, ageLOC R², and ageLOC TR90. Now, with the acquisition of LifeGen Technologies, we gained exclusive ownership to the largest anti-aging gene expression database of its kind. And it's this proprietary knowledge that has led to a deeper understanding of gene expression and the specific way in which ingredients target and modulate gene expression. What many people don't realize is that we partnered with LifeGen Technologies in 2009, and it was at that point that we actually set out to develop our ageLOC Youth product. So we're looking at nearly 6 years of research and development to put together this really exciting product that we see as our most advanced anti-aging product. And to this end, we used the same approach to measure gene expression that we used with our previous ageLOC products. Pictured here is a gene chip. You can see by the photo that a gene chip is only a few centimeters in height, and yet that small little gene chip can capture or holds all of the information for all 20,000 genes in the genome. We add a sample of DNA to that gene chip, and then we look at that data using what's called a heat map. A heat map is simply a graphical representation of the data where a color represents a number. So genes that are expressed at low levels, where our bodies don't make very much of them, are represented in green. And those genes that are expressed at really high levels are represented by red. Now, we have more than 20,000 genes in our genome, and that's a lot of information. However, what we're most interested in are what genes change in expression with aging. Because if a gene does not change in expression with age, we don't want to modify the expression of that gene. We want to focus in on modifying or modulating the expression of only those genes that change in expression with age, because these are the ones that we know are related to the aging process. So we used this screening technique to evaluate our ingredient library. We identified a whole host of ingredients that have known anti-aging effects based on the scientific literature, and then we filtered those ingredients based on their effects on gene expression in our collaboration with LifeGen Technologies, as well as the most robust and current nutritional science research. And we filtered those ingredients down to those ingredients that we've included in our ageLOC Youth product to create a proprietary blend. Once we had our proprietary blend, we then went back to LifeGen and studied this proprietary blend as a whole to see, did we get the same results we did with the individual ingredients, or did we get an even better result? And I have an example of just one of the heat maps that we have generated through this analytical process. Now, this was a study where we compared young, old, and then old with ageLOC Youth and the entire formula. And what you can see here is a heat map representing what's called a gene expression pathway. Now, a gene expression pathway is made up of all the various genes that make up a particular functional pathway. So rather than focusing only on a single gene, we're looking at all of the genes that make up a pathway that leads to a result. So in this example, we're looking at the regulation of cytokine production, which is related to the mechanism regulating inflammatory balance. This technique allows us to look at lots of small changes in the nearly 500 genes that make up this pathway. And the take-home message from this graph is that with age, the Z-score, or the expression of the overall expression of this pathway, increased nearly fivefold in the old group. Now, that's exactly what we'd expect as an increase in this inflammatory balance pathway with age. But what's really exciting is that with the addition of ageLOC Youth, we saw a complete prevention of that increase. So a nearly sixfold decrease in expression of that pathway, telling us that ageLOC Youth prevented the increase in the expression of that gene expression pathway, offering us the proof of principle that we have identified ingredients that could positively modulate gene expression related to these aging defense mechanisms. The final point that I want to leave you with today is that we have created a proprietary blend of ingredients based on our unique gene expression science and the most robust anti-aging scientific literature. So we selected these ingredients based on their unique health benefits and their ability to positively modulate gene expression related to these aging defense mechanisms. So we developed this formula based on our scientific findings and those scientific findings from the literature. And because we're nutritionists in our research group, we then asked ourselves, well, could we really just get all of these ingredients if we were to eat a very healthy diet? And I think everyone in our research group was surprised when the answer came out no, and that really you would be hard-pressed to attain the levels and diversity of ingredients in this formulation by simply eating a really good diet. And the first reason for that is really to do with geography. So our first challenge is, how would we get all of these ingredients all in one place? A great example is the purple corn. Now in Peru, they commonly consume purple corn in the form of a drink called chicha morada. And that is a drink that's made by boiling the corn cobs and then making them into a drink. And that's actually the same way that the purple corn powder that's used in ageLOC Youth is also made. They use a hot water extraction method to take all of the great active ingredients, anthocyanins, from the purple corn and turn them into a powder extract. Now, for most of us, we are not going to be able to access that purple corn. At the same time, there's an ingredient that is common to natto, which is commonly consumed in the Japanese diet, and that's a great source of vitamin K2. Most of us are also not eating natto, so we are not getting vitamin K2 from our diets. However, we can get it in our ageLOC Youth product. Now, there are several other examples, and this graphic, I think, gives you a good idea of how these various ingredients are coming from all over the world, and it would be difficult from a geographic constraints standpoint to get them all in our diet every day. The second challenge is really personal preference. In this case, I give the example of the citrus bioflavonoids. Now, many people recognize from my last name, Mastaloudis, that I am Greek or of Greek descent. My father was born and raised in Greece and emigrated to the United States, and I was born and raised in California. So when I was growing up, my father was always eating the citrus peel. So he would eat the whole peel, the pith, the white part. What we now know is that the citrus peel has the highest levels of the naringin and hesperidin citrus bioflavonoids, as well as the essential citrus oil containing D-limonene. And so rather than having to try to get used to the flavor of the citrus peel and that bitter flavor, we can simply take ageLOC Youth. Now, the third reason that this particular proprietary blend would be difficult to achieve from even a healthy diet is due to the dosing. To be able to get the exact same amounts and to get those same amounts of these ingredients every single day, twice a day, would be really impossible. So ageLOC Youth delivers a potent blend of anti-aging nutrients and phytochemicals that would be difficult, if not impossible, to obtain from diet alone. ageLOC Youth provides consistent levels of these powerful ingredients twice per day. Now, an example of how difficult it might be to get these ingredients even from a healthy diet. One good example would be astaxanthin. That is an important carotenoid. Astaxanthin is common in marine products. So for example, it's common in algae. It's what makes krill oil red. It's also what's responsible for the pink color we see in salmon. And while it would be feasible to achieve the 1 milligram of astaxanthin found in ageLOC Youth in a big serving of salmon, that would not be realistic to eat a large piece of salmon every single day. And so instead, we've included that amount in ageLOC Youth. So to summarize, ageLOC Youth provides systemic youth preservation benefits enabled by our aging defense mechanisms. It is a unique ingredient blend to provide systemic or whole body anti-aging benefits for everyone, regardless of your dietary intake, supplement regimen, or even your age. This is a product designed for all adults, both men and women. And with that, I want to really just thank you for your time today. It's been a great pleasure to share with you just some of the science behind our newest product offering, ageLOC Youth.
Well, thank you, Angela. That was great and so informative. I hope all of you enjoyed that as much as I did and was able to learn more about ageLOC Youth and all of the science behind this amazing product. Now, just in closing, I want to remind each of you about our LTO coming up on November 12th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Make sure that you are ready and prepared to go right at